Welcome. This will be a good review of Pythagorean's theorem and being able to solve right triangles for missing side lengths and being able to know if a triangle is a right triangle, which is the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. This will also be a good review because it's a bunch of story problems. It's making sure you set it up correctly. So just read carefully. 3 baseball players are playing catch. Harley is 12 feet south. So I'm going to go directly down because that's south, 12 feet south of Ryan. So again, maybe I'll put a Harley, H for Harley, and an R for Ryan, and 9 feet west. Now be careful. Harley is 9 feet west. Harley is 12 feet south of Ryan, and Harley is 9 feet west. So I'm just going to go off. That's actually east. I could go west, but it doesn't. It still forms the same right triangle. 9 feet. How far does Ryan need to throw the ball to get to Manuel? So again, this is Manuel. We want to know how far Manuel and Harley have to throw. So there's a right triangle because north-south is perpendicular to east-west, and we perform Pythagorean's theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Again, this I'm hoping is just a simple review for this class. 9 squared is 81. 12 squared is 144. I'm going to add those two together to find out what c squared is. That's 5 to 225 is equal to c squared. And then we square root both sides, and we find out that they are 15 feet apart. They have to throw it 15 feet. All of these problems shouldn't be any more difficult than this. You might have to find a leg, so just make sure you remember if you're given the hypotenuse that you subtract the other side that you know after you square it. Again, this should be a review. I don't want to take too much time with it. The last thing I want to do, though, is I want to say if you get all the way up into the 90s, let me really quickly clear a screen. If you get all the way up to the 90s, it's going to use, that's when you do the converse. What it does is it say, hey, we have a 6-inch, an 8-inch, and a 10-inch side of a triangle. Is it a right triangle? Well, if it is, the longest side would have to be C. The 2 shorter sides would be A and B. And what you'd have to ask yourself, does A squared, which is 36, plus B squared, which is 64, do those two added together equal C squared, which is 100? And they do. Since it's equal, then yes, it is a right triangle. If it doesn't equal, it would be not a right triangle. So again, 52 squared plus 80 squared, does that equal 93 squared? If it does equal 93 squared, it's a right triangle. If it doesn't, it's not. Again, if you have any questions, please do bring them to class.